Alright YouTube, so it's been a while since we've done a webcam video. We haven't really talked about movies in a while, and we've only ever really reviewed like one movie on the channel, I believe. So I just felt like we want to talk about Avengers Infinity War and kind of review it. Now, before we get into it, we are on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Short-term goal, of course, 8,000. So if you guys are new, please subscribe. If you didn't already see it by the title, I will absolutely be talking about spoilers in this video. I'm not like a review channel. I don't often do reviews, especially for movies of all things. So I'm going to talk about things that are in it. That's just how it is. I got to be able to say everything. I got to be able to express myself because, goddamn, this was a great movie. Avengers Infinity War, man, what a hell of a fucking movie. We've been building up to this movie for about 10 years now, roughly. It's kind of when they did the first Marvel movie, but it kind of started with, like, I think the Incredible Hulk, like, post-credits scene with, you know, Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, and Tony Stark. That's kind of when the MCU, Avengers, and all that stuff started kicking off, so it's roughly about 7 or 8 years, but technically 10 years in the making. It's got everything you come to expect from a Marvel movie. It's got good fighting and action scenes. It's got a lot of comedy sprinkled throughout the movie. And, of course, it's got some sadness and heartbreak and sorrow. This one more specifically than the last ones because we're dealing with Thanos, the damn Infinity Stones and the Infinity Gauntlet. So, of course, there's a lot more heartbreak. So going into this movie, obviously Thanos is tracking down all the Infinity Stones. We only knew of 5 stones locations. We didn't know where the Soul Stone was at all. We haven't seen it in any capacity in the MCU so far, so we didn't know exactly what was going to happen with that. So a lot of people were theorizing maybe he'll get like 3 or 4 of the stones, or maybe he'll get all the stones, and maybe the next Avengers, you know, Avengers 4 was going to be him tracking down the Soul Stone, or whatever the case. We didn't know. But no, by the end of Avengers Infinity War, Thanos gets all 6 of them. The movie opens up with Thanos having already ransacked the Asgardian ship that Thor and Loki are on, and he already has the Power Stone. I don't exactly know where he got that. I've seen all the MCU movies, but I just can't remember the exact lineup of where everything happened. I don't remember him getting the Power Stone, which is the purple one, but he's on the Asgardian ship because he's looking for the Tesseract, which has the Space Stone. He threatens Loki that he's going to crush Thor's head unless he gives up the Space Stone, and eventually, of course, Loki does, so that he doesn't kill Thor. And in the process, afterwards, Loki goes to do like a sneak attack on Thanos, pulls out a blade. I don't know why he thinks he's going to be able to do it, but he tries to stab Thanos. Of course, Thanos stops him, and he crushes his fucking neck. He kills Loki at the very beginning of the movie before they even roll the Infinity War logo. Also on the ship, I forgot to mention, is Hulk. I don't know how I forgot to mention that, but he's on there, tries to fight Thanos, gets his ass handed to him, and I think his name's Heimdall, Idris Elba's character. He's the gatekeeper for the Bifrost from Asgard, musters up enough power to throw Hulk back to Earth so that he can get there safely and warn the Avengers and everybody about Thanos' presence. After this, Thanos blows up the ship with the Power Stone that he already has. Of course, it throws Thor into space. We know Thor doesn't die, obviously. They're not just going to kill him off like that. That's where you see from the trailer where he like meets up with the Guardians of the Galaxy group. They split up so Thor can go after a new hammer, and the other group can go after the Reality Stone that the Collector has. I don't remember what it's called. It's a weird fucking name. I don't remember the names of all these space locations. But they go there. The Guardians of the Galaxy group goes there. It's Drax, Gamora, it's the Mantis chick from the second Guardians movie, and of course it's Star-Lord. And they're trying to sneak up, they see Thanos there, Gamora ends up, you know, like going after him to kill him and stabs Thanos in the fucking neck, and he's bleeding out, and we're like, holy shit, she just killed Thanos. And of course he already has the Reality Stone, and he warps the reality back to what it actually is, and you see that the location is completely destroyed and on fire. They attempt to fight him, which of course doesn't work. None of the Guardians of the Galaxy really have any powers, and of course he has the Reality Stone now, along with the Power Stone and the Space Stone. So they're not able to even really fight him, and he takes Gamora prisoner. He was counting on them showing up. He knew that Gamora would show up, and he needed her because she actually knows the location of the Soul Stone, and he knows that because he took her sister, Nebula, which is the robot chick from Guardians 2. He took her, like, captive as well, and he has her on board his, like, big-ass spaceship, and she had a recording where Gamora admits to knowing that she had, like, a map that knew the location of the Soul Stone, but she burned it up so that Thanos could never get his hands on the Soul Stone. He uses that as leverage, of course, threatening to, you know, kill Nebula or whatever if she doesn't give up the location, which, of course, she eventually does. This is all probably out of order, by the way. You know, again, it's just like a 3-hour movie. I don't remember in the order of what everything happened. Before all this actually happens, I believe we actually get to see Hulk crash down at Doctor Strange's location. Bruce Banner warns Doctor Strange about Thanos coming. They bring in Iron Man, of course, and as they're talking, that's when those like big circular ships that you've seen from the trailers come down on New York, and they end up fighting one of Thanos' like lackeys, the dude with no nose. You've seen him in one of the trailers, and that dude is ridiculously strong. I can Google his name right now. I don't remember what his fucking name is, but that dude has like telekinetic powers, and he fucks shit up. And this is where Spider-Man comes into the mix as well. He ends up getting the better of Doctor Strange because he's trying to get the Time Stone from him, and he ends up taking a prisoner. Spider-Man's trying to stop him. He has the webs, trying to hold him down. and they both end up getting taken up to the big ship, so Iron Man follows them. This is where you get to see Spider-Man get his new, like, Iron Spider suit that's is really badass and strong. As it's floating up into space, he tries to send Spider-Man back down to Earth, but of course he stays on the ship. Spider-Man and Iron Man inevitably save Doctor Strange from this dude, and they kill him by throwing him out into space, where obviously he, like, freezes to death. And the ship is on autopilot back to the moon Titan, one of the moons for Jupiter. That's where Thanos is from. It's on autopilot. They can't really stop the ship. They don't know how to control the ship, so it inevitably crashes down on Titan, and they run into the Guardians of the Galaxy characters there. And the Guardians characters I'm talking about are Star-Lord, the Mantis Chick, and Drax, because of course Thanos has already taken Gamora prisoner. Now, at some point in the movie, I don't know exactly where it takes place, we get to see Vision and Scarlet Witch kind of living a normal, regular life. Of course, Vision has the Mind Stone in his head. They're kind of walking around town. They see, like, the attacks on New York on, like, a TV in some store, and then they get attacked by some more of Thanos' lackeys that are looking for the Mind Stone. And those two, it's a male to female. I don't know their names, of course, because I don't know that much about comics. And they end up getting the better of Vision and Scarlet Witch, and that's when, like, Captain America, you get Black Widow, you get Captain Falcon, and maybe somebody else, I don't remember. It might have just been those three, end up coming in and saving them, getting the better of those dudes, and they leave. They know that Thanos is looking for the stones. They know that he's after the Mind Stone specifically, and they want to get it out of Vision's head and maybe either destroy it or try to get rid of it so that Thanos can't have it. So they end up going to Wakanda because Wakanda has the technology for this. Because with technology, if they can't get it removed from Vision's body so that he doesn't have to die, Scarlet Witch is going to have to blow it up with her like magic powers or whatever. We inevitably meet back up with Thanos and Gamora on whatever the strange named planet is that has the Soul Stone, and they come across like this specter-looking thing, or they're climbing the mountain up to get the Soul Stone. It ends up being Red Skull for some kind of weird reason. It was a bit of a shock because I just thought he was dead, but for some reason he was there. He says that he was going after the Soul Stone. I think he failed or something like that, and that's why he's stuck there to like guide people to the Soul Stone. In order to get the Soul Stone, you have to give up something that you love or a person that you love. And, you know, Gamora's happy about this because she thinks that Thanos doesn't love anything except himself. But in what was a pretty obvious twist, of course, he actually does love Gamora, who is his like adopted kind of daughter that he saved her when she was very young from a planet. He actually does care about her, and he ends up pushing her off the fucking cliff. She falls down, hits the ground, splat, and fucking dies, and he gets the Soul Stone. And you actually feel for Thanos in the scene, because he legitimately does love her. Like, he has a fucking tear. The Mad Titan trying to wipe out like half the life in the universe, is actually crying in one scene, because he has to kill his own daughter in order to get the Soul Stone, but that's how much he cares about what he's trying to accomplish. Somewhere amongst all this stuff, we do actually get to meet back up with Thor. He's over at whatever the Dwarven location is that made Mjolnir. They make the weapons in the heart of a dying star. The location's pretty ransacked. There's only one guy left alive. The Dwarvens, and by the way, they're not small dwarves like you'd expect. They're gigantic dwarves, which is pretty cool. It's Peter Dinklage's character. The place is messed up. He repairs it so that they can make the new axe. He has to hold open the machine, which you've probably seen from the trailers. The scene where Thor holding something open. And he takes the blast from a star, like a big ass, like the sun essentially. He takes a blast from that for like a minute or two straight, but they had to melt down the metal and everything like that, and he gets his new axe made. I think after this we get some Wakanda scenes, them trying to work on Vision. That's when like the big ass spaceships drop down from the sky, like the kind of triangle shaped ones, and that's where they release all the crazy ones you've seen from the trailer, where you see like hundreds or thousands of those like four-armed monsters running across like Wakanda. This sort of happens around this area, and then it cuts back to Titan, where the Guardians of the Galaxy and like Iron Man, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange are planning to wait there to fight Thanos when he comes back, and of course he does come back. They end up doing a pretty good fight scene there, and they end up getting the better of him. They end up, after all that, end up holding him down in different ways. You have Drax holding one leg, you have like Iron Man has him pinned down on one area, and the Mantis Chick gets on Thanos' head because she has the ability to like give you emotions and give you thoughts, and she gets on his head and like tries to make him sleep, and she ends up being able to read his thoughts, and she finds out that Gamora died, and this pisses off Star-Lord, and they have him pinned down, and Spider-Man and Iron Man are pulling the gauntlet off of Thanos, and they're about to just get it off, and whenever Star-Lord realizes that he had to kill Gamora to get the Soul Stone, he ends up punching Thanos a few times, and it wakes Thanos up. It knocks the Mantis Chick off Thanos' head, and as it happens, the glove comes off of Thanos' hand, but he catches it, ends up putting it back on, and gets the better of everybody, and fucks everybody up. Now, around about the end of this fight scene, he stabs something through Iron Man, and I was like, oh shit, here it comes, man, Iron Man's gonna die, but Doctor Strange is willing to give up the Time Stone, the 5th Infinity Stone, in order for him to not actually kill Iron Man, so Iron Man doesn't actually die here, and I was happy about that. So at this point, Thanos has 5 of the Infinity Stones. The only one left is the Mind Stone back on Earth. So we end up getting back to Earth. You get more of the Wakanda and everybody fighting all these crazy-ass aliens. And we also get Black Widow and Nye Guerrero's character from Black Panther fighting like the female like lackey of Thanos. You get Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster armor kind of fighting this just big monster dude that has an axe. So throughout the entire movie, Bruce Banner never turns into the Hulk, except for at the very beginning of the movie when we see him as Hulk. And that kind of pissed me off because you want to see Hulk smash, essentially. I hate saying that, it's kind of cheesy. But you want to see Hulk destroy some shit, and he never actually does. He ends up getting the better of that guy. He attaches like one of the Hulkbuster rocket legs or arms or something to him, and like it launches him into the sky, and he ends up smashing into the Wakanda force field. Somewhere in this big-ass fight scene, we get Thor. You see the Bifrost open. He lands and just smashes everything. He fucks everything up because he has his new axe. Of course, he has those new powers he got in Thor Ragnarok, like the electrical powers where his eyes glow and shit like that. So he just starts messing everything up. And then we also get to see Vision fight the Melloc from earlier whenever him and Scarlet Witch got attacked by the male and the female. Well, Vision's fighting the male dude, and he's still in bad health and bad shape from that fight earlier. Ends up kind of getting his ass kicked, and is just about to get killed. And that's when Captain America saves him. Ends up stabbing the dude with his own weapon and killing him. And, everybody's finally everything's safe. They defeated everybody, and then Thanos shows up. At this point, like we said earlier, he has 5 of the Infinity Stones, so he is beyond powerful. Nobody stands a chance. Everybody's running at him as he's walking towards Vision to get the Mind Stone, and he's just throwing everybody to the side and, turning the ground into quicksand, so people are trapped in the ground. Just nobody can stand a chance against him. And Scarlet Witch is trying to destroy the Infinity Stone while it's in Vision's head, and she eventually tries to hold off Thanos, and she inevitably destroys it. She blows it up, destroys the gem, which of course kills Vision, and you're like, holy shit, they actually destroyed one of the Infinity Stones. And then you remember that he just got the Time Stone, so he reverses time, brings Vision back, and just rips the damn Mind Stone out of his head, and kills Vision, and puts it into his glove, and he has all 6 stones. Scarlet Witch is obviously fucked up by the scene, and he's sympathizing with her. He feels bad about her, because even as evil as he is, he has feelings and shit, and as he's talking to her, Thor throws his fucking axe right into his chest, and it fucks up Thanos. And he's sitting there, he's spending time talking to him. He's gloating about how he's going to kill him. He told Thanos he was going to kill him, and Thanos says, you should have aimed for the head, and he snaps his fucking fingers, because he has all 6 gems, and he wipes out half of the universe. This shit messed me up, man, because then you start to see people disintegrate, and they don't fuck around. Over on Titan, you get to see everybody dies on Titan except for Iron Man and Nebula. You see Star-Lord disintegrate, you see Drax disintegrate, you see Mantis disintegrate, you see Spider-Man disintegrate. It fucked me up, man. Back on Earth in Wakanda, you get to see, Black Panther dies. We get to see Scarlet Witch die as well, a bunch of random Wakandan people, of course. I believe War Machine dies as well. Also, Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier, it's crazy, man. They killed off a lot of people there at the end, but none of the big 4 die. Hulk didn't die, Thor didn't die, Captain America didn't die, and neither did Iron Man. So I thought that was kind of crazy because we thought going into this that one, if not multiple of those would die because they've been around in the series forever, and of course, a lot of their contracts were up, but none of them actually died. And that's pretty much where they end the damn movie, man. Half the universe's population is wiped out by Thanos with one snap of the fingers. It's something that I think did happen in the comics, so we kind of thought it was going to happen, but I didn't think I'd actually see it on screen. But yeah, he kills half the universe, and that's kind of where the movie ends. It ends on a pretty bleak and sad note, but in a good way, and I liked it. In the post-credit scene, we get to see Nick Fury driving with his female chick. I can't remember her fucking name. She's been in the movies before, in the other Avengers movies and stuff. They're driving, and they see a car, swerve in front of them, and they get out to check it, and there's no driver, because obviously the driver disintegrated, and then Nick Fury and his little companion chick both disintegrate. Nick Fury dies too with the post-credit scene, and you see him hit a distress signal, this pager-looking thing. He drops on the ground, and it says it's sending, and then you see the logo for Captain Marvel, and then it ends, because Captain Marvel movie's coming up. All in all, an absolutely fantastic movie. I can't possibly do it justice. I've only been talking for about 13 to 14 minutes now at this point, and of course, it was almost a 3-hour movie. It's hard to tell you everything that happened. Lots of action, lots of heart, lots of comedy, lots of heartbreak. You get deaths and things like that. It's just, I don't know if they're going forward with this, because, he kills, all the Guardians of the Galaxy except Rocket Raccoon, but we know that there's going to be a third Guardians movie, and from what we've seen looking stuff up online, in the comics, Nebula gets the gauntlet back and turns back time. At 24 hours or so. So if in the next Avengers movie they're just gonna retcon everything, I felt feelings whenever Spider-Man died when he's crying in Tony Stark's arms because he did not want to die. He's fearing death. And if they just in the next movie they're just I know some of you guys probably got emotional and cried when everybody died at the end of the last movie, but we're just gonna pretend like it didn't happen. That's gonna actually kind of piss me off. I don't want to see that happen. I want some of these characters to remain dead. Maybe they can bring some of them back somehow. I don't exactly know. None of the big 4 have died yet, so I don't know exactly what they're gonna do in the next Avengers movie. But if they just reverse everything, I'm gonna be pretty pissed off. I 100% believe it lives up to the hype. It was worth the roughly 10-year wait. Thanos came through as one of probably the best villain we've had so far in the MCU. Marvel's not really known for having good villains. They're all like, we're bad for the sake of being bad. Vulture was one of the exceptions in the Spider-Man Homecoming movie. Thanos is bad for the sake of being bad to a degree, but you kind of get what he's trying to do. He's trying to wipe out half the population on like every planet. That way the resources stay. There's only a finite amount of resources in the universe, and he wants to do that. If he kills off half the universe, then the people on their planets will thrive for so much longer. You don't necessarily like sympathize with him like you do with Vulture and Spider-Man Homecoming, but you kind of get where he's coming from, and it makes sense. All in all, a nearly perfect movie, in my opinion. Obviously, that's my opinion. Everything's subjective. Some people would seem to hate the fucking movie. I think it's a 10 out of 10, a near perfect movie. I would almost consider it my favorite movie, but I still think that's probably belongs to 28 Days Later. But it is up there, because I'm invested in the MCU, man. I've been watching this shit since the beginning. I watched, the first Iron Man movie, and like Incredible Hulk with the post-credit scene where, Nick Fury starts up the Avengers initiative and all that stuff. Like, I've been there since the beginning. I've been waiting, roughly 10 years to finally see them fight Thanos, and they come through completely. They make him legit. You believe that he's as threatening as he is, because he kills a fuck ton of people at the end of the movie. So I think they delivered completely. I would highly recommend you watch it if you're into the MCU movies. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I went a little more in-depth than I planned. The video is longer than I planned. We've had a review video in here before, but I don't think it was actually this long. I tried to break down what actually happened throughout the movie. I don't remember everything, of course. Pretty long movie. It's hard to remember everything. I hope you guys, girls, and transgenders enjoyed the video, and if you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Turn on notifications. Follow me on Twitter at @the-david. Links to my social networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Give me a smile, give me forever for a while, give me forever for a while. Quit acting like a baby, or at least less like a